It's so good to see all of you here. My name is Ankur, and it's going to be exciting, right? Yes! I'm very sure the next 1 hour is going to be life-changing for everybody in this room. Taru and I, we come from Bangalore. We live in Bangalore. Been there for the past 6-7 years. And some of you are hearing us for the first time. How many of you are in the first time in this room? Welcome. Our goal is to speak for you today evening. Perhaps you might be listening to us sitting in this room, or perhaps you're listening to us on a tape or a CD, sitting in your car or sitting in the comfort of your home. And some of you are trying to perhaps evaluate this business tonight. Anybody here who's trying to evaluate this business? Seeing whether this is for you or not? Good. We would like to speak to you. Because a few years back, we were sitting like this, like you, in one of the seminars. And that's when I made this decision to get into this business, to become a part of this business. And my goal tonight is to be able to help you make a decision. I personally believe that we make very few decisions in our lives ourselves. In fact, I personally believe that human beings in their entire life make only 3 or 4 really big decisions, which become turning points in their life. And most of them are not made by you. They're made by somebody else, influenced by a lot of people around you. Your decision to be born and come into this world was not yours, surely. It was a life-changing decision for you and for a lot of people around you. Your decision from then till you grow 15, 16, 17 years old, you hardly make any decisions. And then you make a decision to create a career for yourself, to become a chartered accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, whoever, a business person, whoever. And for most of us, we did not make that decision. Somebody made that decision for us. And that was a potentially life-changing decision, isn't it? For a lot of us, how many of you had an arranged marriage? Okay, almost everybody. How many of you had a love marriage? Okay, you see? So 90% of the people didn't even decide whom to marry. Somebody else did. That was a life-changing decision for sure. What I'm trying to tell you is that we make very few decisions ourselves in our lifetime. The decision to build this business or not build this business is perhaps going to be one of the biggest decisions you've ever made for yourself in your entire span of your life. Because it is going to affect everything that you will do from here on. See, when I was in school, I didn't have much control over what I was doing. It was, that period lasted 10 years, 12 years. When I was in college, that period lasted 4 years. But after I came out of college and came into a professional life, the next 30, 40, 50 years, the only stated goal that I had, my family had, and the society expected of me was what? To make money. Because that is what will determine the house I live in, the girl I marry, the way I live, the way I travel, the clothes I wear, where I eat, who I associate with, what vacations I have. Everything in my life from here on is decided by only one factor: how much money you make, isn't it? If that is going to be such a big decision which will affect next 30 to 40 years, that decision better be really, really good. And you need to choose a right vehicle for those 30 years, because these 30 years won't come back again. And that is why this decision about getting or not getting into this business will be a potentially life-changing decision for you, is what I believe. Have you heard success is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration? Have you heard that? You know the way I interpret it? 99% perspiration, everybody's doing. How many of you think you're working hard? You're already working very hard. A lot of you, almost all of you. You think you're working hard, so 99% perspiration is not a problem. Even though people are doing the 99% perspiration, they're not able to succeed in life. Why? Because the 1% inspiration is missing. That's why. Where do you get it? There's nobody to give that inspiration really. From where do you get that inspiration? How many of you have watched that new movie which has just come, Guru? A lot of you? Does it inspire you to do something more in life? Yeah, it does. But then for 3 hours maybe. You come home and then you forget a lot of it. In your real life, how many of you have got family, relatives who are multimillionaires? Okay, 3, 4 people. How many of you have got friends who are multimillionaires? Okay, 10, 15 people. How many of you have got neighbors who are multimillionaires? Not possible, otherwise they won't be your neighbors. How many of you have got colleagues who are multimillionaires? Not possible. They won't be your colleagues. So my point is, where do you get that inspiration from? Who is going to inspire you and show you that it is possible for you and me to one day be able to drive a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, a Ferrari, be able to fly in a private jet, to be able to own villas, to be able to own beaches? We do not see that possibility around us. And that inspiration, that 1% which can cause a difference in your life, is possible through this organization, Brit Worldwide. What is this? The stated goal of this organization, Brit Worldwide, is this: unlimited association with financially free people. I do not know of any other organization worldwide which has this stated goal: unlimited association with financially free people. See, the point is, you want and I want to associate with financially free people, people who do not need money in their life. But the point is, those people who are financially free have no motivation to associate with you and me, because they have no reason, really. Brit Worldwide provides that opportunity to you and me. When I got into Brit Worldwide, it was the first time in my life that I got introduced to a set of multimillionaires who were willing to teach me what to do, how to do, and how to be where they were. For the first time, I got to know there was something called Kantigala. There was somebody called Kantigala, who is a PhD scientist, got into this business at the age of 45, a multimillionaire many times over, lives like a king. For the first time, I got to know Manipal Reddy, who's my upline. He just built a $2 million house in New Jersey. For the first time, I got to know somebody like Kumar and Anjali Shivramakrishnan, retired at the age of 27 from their careers, used to own his own software company, multimillionaire, about to buy his own private jet. I could have never met somebody like that without the system, Brit Worldwide. I could get to know somebody like Dr. Hal Newball, who's a multimillionaire helping millions of people worldwide. See, that association is impossible outside this organization. I could have never met somebody like Raja Narain, 26 years old, student, multimillionaire. Somebody like Anurag Agrawal, 26 years old, 27 years old, multimillionaire, helping thousands upon thousands of people. That opportunity exists for you and I in this association, to get that 1% inspiration, which is the one which is missing in creating the success of our lives. The question is, will you make the decision to be a part of this association or not? That is the question. Tonight, you will make that decision. My question is, will you really make that decision, or will it be the rest of the society who will make that decision? For the majority of you, it will be somebody else who will decide. You will go to your neighbor and you will ask, do you think I should do this business? And they will give you their opinion. You will go and ask your relatives, your dad, your uncle, your brother, your cousin, do you think this business is good? And they will give you their opinion. You might go and ask your colleagues, do you think this business is good? They will give you their opinion. They say, opinions are like armpits. Everybody has one and most of them stink. The question is, are they qualified to give you the right advice or not? Can you imagine, I have a heart problem and I go ask my neighbor, what should I do? What do you think I should do? Do you think he'll tell me something to do? Surely he'll tell me what to do. Do you think he's the right person to tell me? Everybody will tell you something about anything you want to know. Question is, are they qualified to give you the right advice or not? I need to go to a cardiologist to ask. Same way, I would recommend, if you want to know whether this opportunity could make you a multimillionaire or not, I would recommend the minimum qualification you set to take advice is that the person you take advice from should be a multimillionaire himself. Anybody below that cannot give you the right advice at all. The ideal way is to take advice from somebody who's a multimillionaire in this business. They're the only people who can teach you how to be successful in this business. And that is the first 2 rows of people sitting over here. Successful people, platinums and up in this business. Right? I'd like to tell you how I got into this business, what we did, and how Taru and I built a business to this level, because we want to tell you that we were not perfect. We do not come from a business background. We had never done business before in our life. We come from probably a similar background as you. I was born in North India in a place called Indore, and come from a family where everybody believes in education. My father was a self-made man, did his BTech in engineering, and then did his master's in engineering. He used to still works for a pharmacy company, actually. My mother did her PhD in Sanskrit and then went on to do her DLit in philosophy. And very educated, very highly educated. She does research on ancient Indian texts and writes books and dictionaries. That's what she does. She's still a research scholar. So I come from a background where I saw education in my family all through. And obviously the only thing I was supposed to do was to study well, work hard, and be successful. And that's what I did. I was very good in studying. I was very good in doing what I was doing. I don't remember any time when my parents had to pay my school fees because I always studied on a scholarship and always was a topper. So it was never an issue. But those 12 years zoomed through. I don't have much memory of those first 12 years of my life. But the first time I remember was in class 11th or 12th when it was time to choose a career. And obviously, like all of us do, I looked around and I said, looks like more engineers in my family than doctors. Engineering is the way to go. And I started preparing for what everybody else was preparing for, and that was IIT, an exam for the Indian Institutes of Technology, the most coveted institutes in India and around the world. And I prepared very hard, and that was the first time I got failure in my life. The results came out, and I realized that I hadn't gotten through IIT at all. I had gotten through every other institute and every college and was meritorious everywhere else, but except this one thing. And my mind was set there. I was feeling really bad because that was the first time really I failed in my life. And everybody around me, what did they say? They said, forget it, doesn't matter. How does it matter? Just take admission in the other best college that you have and then you'll still get a job and you'll still have a bright career. Why worry about it? But what was in my heart was my eyes were set to go to IIT. And I did not listen to anybody else. I joined college, but I prepared again and got through IIT this time. That was, the year was 1994. And I found myself all of a sudden at IIT Delhi in the class of electrical engineering in a bachelor's degree. Do you think I was passionate about it? No. Whatever rank you get is the branch that you get. It's really not your choice. You really don't have much say over it. And that's how I landed into electrical engineering. I was feeling great about it because it was a great accomplishment for me. But in a year's time, I realized that 500 people over here are just like me. What's the big deal? I'm just another ordinary person in this place. And the struggle in my life has always been to try to be extraordinary. And around that time, in my second year of engineering, I saw a notice on the notice board which said, we are looking for 2 students to go to France on an exchange program. And I was excited. That was an escape from the mundane life that I was leading there. And I said, great, let me try for this. And I myself have no idea how I got through it. But they said, okay, we choose you to go on this exchange program. And I learned French for a couple of months because I had to write my exams in French there. And 6 months later, I find myself with another friend of mine at an institute called INSA in Lyon, France, in southern France. And it was very exciting. It was something new. It was something extraordinary. And the moment I reached there, I found that there were 300 other exchange students from various countries in the world. And the first few months were great, but after 6 months, I felt this was very ordinary again. But it was fun. When I was making a decision to go to France, what do? I was used to asking everybody else. So I asked my uncles and I asked the professors and I asked the people who I knew around me. And what did everybody say? They said, forget it. Don't even try to do all this. Why do you want to do stunts over here in your career? Why don't you just stay here and be happy? But my heart was set to going, and so I went against the wishes of everybody else. Once I reached there, a couple of months down, I started missing the excitement, and I saw another notice on the notice board. It said, General Electric is looking for a student for a traineeship in Germany. And I was excited. I applied for it. What do? I asked everybody else. I called up home. I called up my uncles. I talked to the people around, and what did everybody say? Forget it. Again, another mess up in your life. You've already done so many mess ups, why don't you just stay where you are? And what did I do? Exactly the opposite. I ended up reaching Germany. And I got a traineeship at AG. It was a part of a company which was bought over by General Electric Power Controls at that time in Hamlin. You know, the city where sometimes in your English literature you have studied the story of a city of the Piper of Hamlin, where there were rats and there's a piper who came and blew the horn and the rats crossed the river Weser and they all died. Right, that city. I thought it was only in storybooks, but it was a real city. And I used to live there as a paying guest with a couple. I used to call them Opa and Oma, very elderly couple. He was 95 years old and she was 90 years old. And they were not really a couple. They were a boyfriend and a girlfriend, really. And see, when I was in France, I was traveling the entire Europe. I had a lot of time. I used to get a scholarship, but not that much. All my money used to go in traveling. When I reached Germany, I used to get a lot of money as a traineeship stipend, but I had no time. And I started feeling a stark difference right there. I figured very early in my life that either you can have the money or you can have the time. I wanted the money of a traineeship, but the time of a student career. But that was not possible. I had to choose between one of them. And this elderly couple, boyfriend and girlfriend, Opa and Oma, they were very nice couple. I had a ball of a time with them. I really enjoyed those years of my life. They used to love each other before the Second World War. And she had red hair. So this guy's dad said, no, you can't marry her. She looks Irish, no way. And so he got married somewhere and she got married somewhere. He had children and she had children. Her children got married, his children got married. His wife died and her husband died. And one day they met in the market and they said, what the heck, to forget the rest of the world. We've missed our life. And they started living together again. And they had a ball of a time. And I was a paying guest at their place. Had a really nice time. Those years were the best years of my life as far as I can remember. I came back to India and somehow finished my degree and got a job. And I had 2 job offers in Bangalore at that time. This was 1998. I had a job offer from a very big company, a very big software company, around 1,000 people, 1,000 employees. And I had an offer from a very small company, 50, 60 employees. And how is our genetic makeup? We take advice again. We just don't want to leave it. And I went ahead and asked everybody else, where should I join? What did everybody say? Join the big company. What did I do? Exactly the opposite. Went ahead and joined the smaller company. And that's how I landed in Bangalore in June of 1998. I thought I've arrived. Some of you think like that? Somebody becomes a software engineer, they've arrived. I thought like that too. And I reached Bangalore, and in just first couple of months, I realized the saying that is so true. They say, 2 things are in abundance on the Bangalore roads: dogs and software engineers. And that was not a very pleasant feeling, because you enter this company and there's like rows upon rows upon rows of people who are typing software, and floors upon floors upon floors of people typing software. It is called extraordinarily ordinary. And I felt, what is this? There's just like hordes of people doing this. There is nothing special about this. And I was bored very, very soon. I realized, I'm not sure you realize this, but this is the truth. Some of you think software engineers work very, very hard. They go early in the morning and they come back 1 o'clock at night and 2 o'clock at night. But believe me, very few of them really work very hard. I realized very early that people were staying at work not because they had work. See, you reach office at 9 o'clock, first you read a newspaper. By the time the newspaper reading is over, it's 11 o'clock, so you go for a coffee, and then you check your email, and then you do a little bit of work. By the time it's lunch time, so you go have lunch. After lunch, obviously, you're very sleepy, so you take a small nap, and then you have this coffee machine discussion on politics or on some stocks or some market condition. By the time it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening, and then you realize you'll come here to work. So you start working. By the time you finish your work, it's obviously 10 o'clock at night. And what do you think? Oh shit, you know what? If I stay till 10:30, they'll give me free dinner. So they stay back for free dinner. And if you stay back till 12, most companies have a rule, 11 or 11:30, they will send you by cab. You don't have to really take an auto or something. So you stay back further. And you reach home at 2 in the morning. You think you worked hard. But have you really worked? I don't know. That is the truth of software engineering. I liked it. When I was a new software engineer, initially I thought that this guard sitting outside is also my guard. He's supposed to sit for me. These computers are also mine. The air conditioning is also mine. The carpeting is also mine. But very soon I realized that none of this is mine. I myself am temporary over here. I can be shown the door any day. That's what happened in 2001. When the downturn came in the software industry, a lot of people were caught unawares. They had no idea what was happening to them. One fine day, they were called in the conference room and said, tomorrow the company is closing. Thank you and no thank you. Nice to have you here. And I realized that in the first few months of my career, and me and my roommates, we started thinking, what else can we do? Can we do something more than just a job? Can we utilize our time better? Can we be more efficient in our life? Because if our only goal now is to make money, then why are we not making money? See, software engineers, I'll tell you some great dilemmas of software engineers. The parents of software engineers tell their neighbors about their son's salary, and those salaries are very nice. But the son really makes half that money. Because when you tell your mom about the salary you make, you tell about the gross salary, and the gross salary is really gross. That's why it's called the gross salary. Net salaries are really very, very low because you pay 40% tax, and I had no realization that there's 40% tax. And after combining all this, I realized that lifestyle has really gone down. I personally believe that if you would come to see the way we live, most of you will say, why are you guys even living here? I think you guys should just go back to your hometowns, because the rent that we pay, you could rent a palace over here for that same cost. And the guard would come free actually. So the quality of life really goes down. And that is what I started thinking. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And where am I going? I used to see my team lead. This guy was working for 5 years in the industry, and he used to come in the morning, go late in the night. He used to have a Yamaha. I used to see the manager. This guy used to have an office with a door. That's called status. And this guy used to come even earlier, go even later, take conference calls in the morning and at night. And he had a Maruti 800. I saw the director who was 15 years experience. This guy was traveling 20 days in a month. No time with his wife or kids. I could not put myself in the shoes of any of these people. I couldn't relate to any of them. Looking for something more, a better life. And that is when I went on a project to the US for some time, along with a roommate of mine, Ganesh. He was from Chennai, and we were in Mountain View in California. And somebody called Deepak Chaudhary, who used to work with HP at that time, met Ganesh and showed him the Amway business, the Amway opportunity. And he said, who do you know? Because that's the first thing you do. You make a list of people. And Ganesh put everybody's name on that list except mine. He said, this guy won't do it. This guy is from IIT. He's got too much status. He will never get into this business. He didn't understand that I didn't have a status problem. And for the first week, second week, third week, he didn't show it to me. And third week, he calls me up one fine day in the evening at 5 o'clock. He says, Ankur, there is a meeting happening. A few businessmen are getting together. Do you want to come? I said, why are they getting together? And what is this meeting all about? He said, no, they're just getting together. If you want, you can come. It sounded to me as if he's saying, try not to come. And that aroused my curiosity, because I was really looking. I was looking to do something in my life, something extra, something different. And that evening I went to an open opportunity meeting where they showed the business plan. And frankly speaking, the business plan didn't make much sense to me. I didn't understand too much of the business plan at all. But what I did understand was that there are very sharp people building this business. I was in the Silicon Valley. Everybody in that room was very highly qualified, had a bachelor's, a master's degree, a PhD. My sponsor, Deepak Chaudhary, he was from Cornell University himself with his bachelor's and master's over there. And I met people who had done their PhD, who were working in high-tech industries. And I was very impressed. I figured if people of that caliber are in this business, they must have thought something about it. That's the first thing I liked. Second thing I liked was that I saw couples building this business there. I saw husbands and wives, which is really unseen anywhere else. How many places do you see husbands and wives together working at something? Very few places. And I liked it. Because my fear was always, when I get married, my wife will have a career, I will have a career, and there won't be much to talk about in common. This was a business where I saw where husbands and wives could work together. That's the second thing I liked. A third thing I liked was there was no hypocrisy. No hypocrisy means I found people who were saying, we want to be multi-millionaires. Everywhere else I was seeing people who were saying, no, we're not running after money. And the whole day they're running after money, really changing a job, trying to see the stock price. I found people who were not hypocrites over here. I like that. If you're really making money or wanting to make money, why not say so? I got into the business. Those days I was staying at my boss' place. My boss had actually gone to Europe for a conference and he had a dog. Somebody had to take care of the dog, and here I am, taking care of the dog. Anything for the boss, right? No, that was not the reason. My boss had a home theater and a jacuzzi. I thought, wow, life will be awesome. For 10 days I can stay at his place, and I was staying at his place. I didn't really go through the material that they gave me. The next day they came and they questions. So you have questions when you have understood something. I hadn't understood much. So I said, no, I have no questions. So they said, okay, let's get you started. I thought getting started must be a long drawn process. Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks we can get started. So this guy went to the car, brought a box and a form, and he said, okay, welcome, you're in business. And right there, I was in business. And that's how I found myself in a part of this huge Amway Brit Worldwide opportunity worldwide. I came back to India. Very soon I came back to India, and my roommate went to Chennai, to his hometown, and his mother said, what is this that you're doing? This is ridiculous. I sent you to the US to become a scientist, to become a big man, to become a CEO, and what is this? You're going to sell soap? If you're going to do this business, I'm going to do a suicide. And he was so afraid, he said, no, I'm not going to start this business. And he didn't start, and I directly got connected under his upline, which was Deepak Chaudhary. And I went to the Amway Distribution Center to buy my kit for the first time. And that was the first time I saw products. At that time, there were very few products. The products used to be very costly at that time. I saw Dish Drops. Dish Drops is this dish cleaning liquid, which was 420 rupees. I almost fell down. Because you see, in my house, the total cost of the dishes itself was not 420 rupees. I mean, what do I do with a dish cleaner of 420 rupees? And I thought, man, I can't buy this. I'm an IIT grad. I can't afford this. How do I expect a common man to afford this? Forget this. This is not going to work. But the moment I thought that, you know what crossed my mind? I thought, boss, Ankur, you'll have to do a job for all your life. I said, no, forget it. Let's do this. Let's try it out. I bought the kit, came home, and I gave it to my maid. And you know what she says? She says, Bhaiya, this is not a good detergent. I want Sabina. I said, what is this Sabina? She says, that is a better washing powder. I said, see, boss, my Mercedes-Benz is going to come from this box. You better use this. I was not sure about the products, but I understood one thing. This opportunity could make me a lot of money. I don't care about what product they have inside it. See, today the product lines have changed. A lot of people come and tell me, Ankur, the Amway products are very expensive. And they're right. But they have an information which is from a few years back. They have an outdated information. Because a few years back, Amway actually used to have large packings, 1 liter products. You know that, right? And obviously the cost goes up because they make concentrates. But today Amway makes 500 ml packings, 250 ml packings, sachets. And this is just wonderful. Everybody can afford it. If you give a 5 rupee sachet to somebody, they will surely try it. And if they like it, they'll end up buying a 420 rupee bottle for sure later because they know it is cheaper and better than what they're buying in the market. Anyways, I was very excited. I used to go to every meeting with a suit. I was the only guy in a suit over there. And I used to go on the stage every time. I was, in fact, not even a 3%. See, to reach 3% took me a long time. Because, you know, dish drops, right? Where will I use it? So my product consumption was 0. But I was fired up. How much money was I making? The money I was making was 0. I used to show the plan to people. I used to show them for 1 hour how they can become millionaires through the Amway opportunity. And they used to show me for 2 hours how this won't work. And I was having fun. See, it didn't matter whether I was succeeding or not succeeding, but I was enjoying the whole process. Finally, after 3 months, one of my classmates from IIT, Ratish, he was really looking for an opportunity and he said, Ankur, I will do this with you. And he joined me. Now there were 2 sharp people in the open meeting. How much money were they making? 0 again. Because both are not using products. See, I was very afraid of selling. You have to understand that. My logic was, boss, I am from IIT Delhi. I am a big time software engineer. Selling products? Forget it. I can't even talk about products to somebody. I used to talk about the whole opportunity, everything. I won't even mention the products. Obviously, they won't sell. What I want to tell you is I want to give you hope. If some of you are thinking you have to go and sell, you don't have to. It's fine. I found people in my organization who were excited about selling. That's great. In fact, it took me 2 years, 3 years before I could become comfortable with the products. And it's fine. You take what you like, you leave what you don't like. But take a supermarket approach. When you go to a supermarket and you don't like a few products, you don't say the supermarket is horrible. You just leave it. You pick what you like. That is the attitude you need to have to this business. Take what you like. Anyways, we didn't know anybody there in Bangalore. See, I'm not from Bangalore. I don't speak the local language. I didn't study there. And I didn't know anybody. Neither did this first downline of mine, Ratish. We didn't know anybody at all. And that was another problem. The point is that really a problem? I don't know. It was something that we need to figure out. And we figured it out. We started meeting people everywhere we went. We started asking people for references. We started asking relatives, do you know somebody in Bangalore? We started asking the people we knew, hey, you don't want to do this business, but can you give me the references of 15, 20 people who I could talk to? It's not a big deal at all. Today there are tools online through which you can get in touch with people who you have lost touch with for years. And it's easy to get lists and references and people's references who you can show this business to. It's not a big deal at all. I'll give you an example. Ratish was traveling by train from Delhi to Ludhiana, and there was a gentleman sitting next to him. And Ratish was talking to him about the business. This guy was not keen, but there was another guy sitting next to him. And that guy says, what is this business? Ratish said, I'm coming back and I'm doing a meeting. Why don't you come and see the business with your wife? And on his way back from Ludhiana, Ratish did a home meeting where this guy came with his wife. He had invited 10, 15 people, but only this couple turned up. Ratish did the business plan, and after the plan, this guy says, okay, I'm ready to start. Now the point is, nobody had ever told us we're ready to start. So he was confused. What to do? So he called up Upline. Said, what should I do? Upline said, take a check. He said, that's the problem. They're giving cash. He said, stupid, take cash. See, that's how naive we were. We had no idea about this business at all. We came back to Bangalore, shipped them a kit. And you won't believe it. 5 months we were at 0%. In 1 month, this couple sponsored every relative in their household. Uncle, aunt, brother, sister, this neighbor, that neighbor, everybody. From 0%, suddenly after 5 months, in 1 month, we became 9%. No, there's nothing to be happy about. We were 9%, but how much money were we making? But we were fired up. You have to understand, being excited has no relation to how successful you are becoming. Because we were not fired up for the money we were making. We were fired up for the money we were going to make in the years to come. You understand? That hope is what gives you the excitement. And I found all my legs like that. From unknown people, it's not a big deal. You don't have to know a lot of people to build this business. You don't have to be perfect. Perfect people don't build this business, right? I did a course, a behavioral development course, and there was this guy sitting next to me, and we became friends, and I showed him the business, and he said, sure, I wanted to go for an MS, but then I've dropped that idea, and I'm looking for an opportunity. If you're doing something good, why not? And he joined business with me. He was working as a software engineer for a company called Siemens at that time, and his name was Mohsin Khan. And he became our second platinum. And we've got, founders platinums upon founders platinums upon founders platinums in that organization today. Thousands of people in that leg. He sponsored a girl who sponsored her sister, and Mohsin, Sumaya sponsored Umaya, and Mohsin got married to Umaya. So he found his wife also through the business, really. In fact, Ratish sponsored somebody who sponsored somebody who sponsored somebody, and Ratish got married to their daughter. So for single guys, there's a lot of hope, you can, not just the products are good. And from this same course, I was coming back home. It was 20 kilometers, and this gentleman who was there, he did not have a bike, so I used to give him a lift on my scooter every day. I had a dirty old scooter which I got from my dad, and I used to give him a lift on that. And one day he called me up, Ankur bhai, how are you? I said, come home, man, I'm going to show you something good. And I showed him the business. He got excited, he got started, and he became a third platinum, Kamlesh and Shweta. And they moved to Hyderabad recently. He's a software engineer also. Thousands of people in that organization. A lot of platinums in that organization. That became our third platinum organization. That's how we went emerald. In 2003, after 4.5 years in this business, we went emerald, and it was so exciting. And it was freedom, mentally. That was exciting. In fact, I had sponsored, I showed this business to a friend, the friend who went with me to France, and he said, no, I don't want to do this. But you know what? I have another friend from IIT. You can talk to this guy. He's in Cochin. I went all the way to Cochin to show him the business. This guy said, no, I'm not interested right now. But 1 year later, he came to Bangalore and joined the business. He joined but couldn't do much because of family challenges. He went out. 2003, he came back to Bangalore. And he got active again. He got married. And they became our fourth platinum, like Gaurav and Divya. He works for a software company in Bangalore. She's an architect. And they've got a thriving organization coming on. We have my younger brother. He and his wife are from IIM Ahmedabad. They're at 18%. They're going to be our fifth leg, starting their qualification next month. So life is exciting. You will find people. The question is, maybe you can't see them right now. It is always like this. They say 1,000-step journey cannot be completed in a minute. You take a step and you can see the next 10 steps. And you take another step and you see the next 10 steps. Don't try to see the entire journey before you start it. Start the journey. You will figure out how to do it along the way. It's really not a big deal. Along the way, I got married. I found Taru. This was right after I went gold. And the journey became even more exciting because the joy of companionship is like no other joy. And Taru and I are equal partners in our business. She is accomplished in her own right. She did her MBA from HR and used to work for the hotel industry when I met her for the first time. And I was looking for somebody who could handle a large organization. I was looking for somebody who could gel in with the people, who become comfortable with them very quickly. And I just found the perfect person. Together we are the most powerful team in the world. And we're going diamonds, executive diamonds and camp. And I'd like you to hear from her, and then I'll come back and wrap up.
Thank you. Some of you are wondering whether this business is for people who were very accomplished right from the beginning, like Ankur, who had somebody who had a great self-image to start with, who had a great degree behind him, who had the perfect upbringing, who had confidence, who was not shy of public speaking. And I can give you a lot of hope because I was in the other end of the spectrum when I got married. Okay, I was a person who would, shy away from public attention, whatsoever it is. In fact, I remember the first big function I came to with Ankur, that was in Chennai. And he told me that we have to go up on stage and introduce. You just have to say your name. Believe me, for half an hour, I was dying on my chair that I have to go across the stage and say my name. And in fact, I told him that day, if you would have told me that, I have to come and speak in front of so many people, I would have never married you. Okay? But believe me, I don't regret that. We are absolutely having fun in the business. And to tell you a little bit about my background, I belong to UP. I come from a family of engineers again. My father is in government service. 90% of my relatives or whoever, everybody is in the family, they are highly placed government officers. I have a younger brother, he and his wife, they are both in the hotel industry and they live in UK. And I have an elder sister, she's married to an IITian as well and she's settled in Bombay. And just me and my sister out of our entire family are 2 girls who got married to non-government officers. For me, I'll tell you a reason why. My dad was continuing the family trend and looking for a guy from IIT for me because, none of the daughters went to IIT, so at least the son-in-law, we had a choice in that. See, the reason I did not want to marry a government officer was only the reason because the way I grew up was transfers, postings, changing schools, and I was very career-oriented. So I could see for myself that if I have the same lifestyle like before, like while growing up, I could never build a career. So I wanted to settle down in a place like Bangalore or Pune. Those were 2 cities of my choice, and it just happened like that we met through Times of India. Through Times of India matrimonial. It's a completely, perfectly arranged marriage. And I can tell you it works. Okay, and so that's how. See, when I say that I was career-oriented, I was career-oriented, but I never had big dreams. The only thing I had imagined in life was, a working couple, husband working in a good job, I would also be working. But this plan, I did not see beyond 5 years. Most of us, when we are in that age, we do not think that long term. At least I was like that. I had a very normal upbringing. I was average. I had a good education, decent job and everything. But I did not excel in anything. And accordingly, I did not have a big time plan for my future. My big time plan was only to find a good husband. Okay? And the first time I got to know what is dreaming big was, when I met Ankur. We were engaged for 8 months before our marriage, and that was the first time I heard really that big things are possible in this lifetime. You just don't have to see it on the movies and just, feel happy about it for 3 hours. How many of you remember there used to be a serial called Shanti? It used to come on Doordarshan. I don't know, it was a Hindi channel, and we used to, even as a kid, I have watched that serial, and the only thing I remember about that serial was the beautiful house. And Ankur used to tell me that, one day me and my brother, we want to build a house like Shanti Mansion, a big house with a circular driveway, a 4-car garage and a swimming pool. I was so ignorant. I thought that all this would come from the income he was making in his job. Can you believe it? I thought that, okay, he's from IIT, he has a great degree, and he travels to US, so I'm sure he has a lot of dollars saved in the bank. But little did I realize that with all those dollars, with all those US trips, and with all the expenses in Bangalore, ultimately all you can buy after a lot of savings in dollars also is a good flat with a couple of lakhs of down payment and a 15 or 20 year EMI as a financial liability for the next 20 years. I did not realize that those dollars or whatever money could give you a nice looking bathtub, but it cannot give you a swimming pool. I was that ignorant. Okay, see about the dreams, the best part that I liked was, he was not only talking about the money or the things that we could buy with money. He also used to tell me that, you and I will be a perfect couple. We will have an exemplary marriage and we will be role models to so many other people in our life. And another thing he used to talk about was having an ideal family, that, I should be united, or we should just be the perfect daughter and son-in-law, or, daughter-in-law and son, perfect brother. We should just be a perfect family for everybody around us, and we should give back to the society. Now see, for me, that was again a big change, because I had never met another 24-year-old who would be thinking on those terms. Ankur and I are the same age. None of my friends used to think like that. I never thought like that. So I was really impressed. And believe me, all this was there because he was in the Brit system already for 1.5 years before we met. And so that's how my dream building started happening. See, I'm telling you this because I want to just share this, that even if you're here today for the first time thinking, do we really need all those big things in life? I just want to tell you this, you cannot be so selfish, thinking so small only for yourself. If you make it big in life, there is so much we can do for everybody else around us. We can give so much back to the society. Unless our own things are full, we cannot even think of giving to others. Is that correct? Honestly, people who give the biggest charities or who can do for the society are the people who are already billionaires, right? So that's where we wanted to be. See, Ankur used to speak about being young, rich, and free. Okay, and I thought that this was possible only if you are born in a wealthy family. That's the only possibility that you can be young, rich, and free. But believe me, this business has made it possible for us in just about 3 to 4 years' time. Is that a good deal? Yeah, there's just a couple of things you need to change. Just change a few things that other people are not doing that we are doing. That's it. That's about it. It's very, very simple. See, before my marriage, when I was working, I came to Bangalore for 10 days on an official trip. That was the time where I saw what this business could give us. Ankur had his calendar booked as expected. I was there for 10 days. Every evening, sharp 6:30, he used to pick me up from my workplace and take me along with him to all the meetings. In those 10 days, I attended home meetings, I attended BBS, I attended open meetings, I attended a seminar by Kumar Shivaramakrishnan, I attended a seminar by our mentors, EDC's Manipal Reddy, and I got a great picture of the business at that time. See, the biggest thing I realized at that time, in my mind, I was observing everything that was happening around me. And I was drawing parallels in my mind. On one hand, I had my set of friends, my colleagues, people I was working with. We all were the same age, okay? We had decent education, decent job, but we were already in a rut system. I worked only for 2 years, and in those 2 years, I was living weekend to weekend. I'll tell you what is weekend to weekend. 6 days, Monday to Saturday, we used to, all of us, me and my friends and my colleagues, we used to work hard Monday to Saturday, party Saturday night, sleep late till Sunday, and the weekend just goes by. And then Monday morning, the cycle starts again. I've spent 2 years just like that, accomplishing nothing, going nowhere. And again, like Ankur, I also saw that people who were more experienced than me, they had no difference. They had the same lifestyle. It's just that they were making a little more money, but they had more family obligations. I was a single at that time. And here I was seeing Ankur's team. Ankur's team at that time, the average age of his team, we were 23 years old. His team was 23 and below. 21, 22, 23, let me say. And I saw that a big contrast. I saw these guys had a better degree. All of them were BTechs from good colleges. They were making more money than me and my friends back in Agra where I was working. And still, they were putting in a lot of hard work in the evenings. They were making each day of their life count. Their life was not weekend to weekend. That was something that I was really impressed with. That they are just 23, 24 years old, just like us. But the big difference is, at that early age, they've already decided a destination and they have found a right vehicle. And they're putting in action to achieve that. I had not met any other set of young, ambitious people in my life till that time. I was really impressed by what I saw in Bangalore. I went back, I liked everything. But, the kind of person I was, once I went back to Agra where I was working, I was very hesitant in telling everybody that Ankur was in the Amway business. I told that, yeah, he's a software engineer, his house is nice, he bought a Zen just the day I was coming to Bangalore. And, I told all the nice things. He had just returned from US, he brought me a lot of stuff, and I showed it off big time to all my friends. But I didn't have the guts to tell anybody that he was building the Amway business. Now, see, the problem was not with the business. The problem was with my self-image. I was so worried about what will people think. Can you see how perfect we are as a couple? He didn't care about people's opinion, and I was so worried about what will other people say, what will they think. And I just learned it along the way that if you have to be successful in life, you cannot care about you cannot be concerned about what other people are thinking. Because ultimately, your finances, you have to set right. Nobody else can do it for you. And he told me that it will take guts to succeed in this business. You will have to go against what everybody else is doing. And the way I was, I had never got attention, because if you are just average, you're just doing everything which everybody else is doing, nobody turns back and, says anything. You must have heard that, people throw stones at a tree which is bearing fruits. Nobody throws stones at a tree which is barren, correct? Same thing for us too. I just understood that, my turning point in this business came, I attended an FED. Before getting married, the FED was happening in Bombay and the Hedi Sports Complex. It was in November of 2000 and December was our wedding, and Ankur really insisted that I should come. He wanted me to come because he wanted me to see a big picture of the business, and I wanted to go because the next day was his birthday. Okay, and anyways, I went to FED and I really liked what I saw there. I saw more than 10,000 people, and believe me, I had never seen such a big gathering before. The thing that I really liked there was there were no separate queues for men and women. There was no alcohol. There was no smoking. The women seemed to be very comfortable. There was no pushing around, nothing. It was very organized. There was no chaos. And the state I come from, girls hardly ever go to theaters because the crowd there itself is like that you would not want to go in. So coming from that place and seeing such a big change, I was impressed that how can something be so organized when it's such a big mob? And that was my first impression about a big Brit function. Ankur was in platinum qualification at that time, so I didn't stand in the queue, but I was observing everybody, and everybody seemed to be happy about what was going to happen. Once the function started, I remember seeing 3 couples on stage. I saw Kumar and Anjali, I saw Kanti and Lata Gala, and I saw Kulin and Meena Desai. All I could understand from them was what the dreams that Ankur is talking about, those people are living that lifestyle in real. That was something that I saw. It increased my faith level in the business. And the thing that really emotionally appealed to me was the way husbands brought up their wives. All those people were married for a long time, but the way they were speaking about their wives, it looked just as if they've just been married for less than a year. You all can understand what I'm saying. Okay? After marriage, I came back and we just had to change a few things. We just had to do a few things which other people were not doing. The first decision was I decided to quit because I wanted to build this business full time. It was met with a lot of resistance from my parents because they just didn't understand the big picture of the business. They are my well-wishers. They are the ones who would care the most about what I was doing in life. But the only thing is that sometimes we have to see whether they have the right information, whether they have the same information as you do, and make our decisions accordingly. So that's what we had to do. And after that it was simple. We did something which we call delayed gratification in our business. It simply means postponing a few things for some time. We say that have delayed gratification, not denied gratification. There is nothing that we cannot enjoy later. It is just that whatever fun we want to have today, if we want to build this business seriously, we have to postpone it for some time. And then you can get it back in multiple folds. I'll give you an example. When we got married like a normal couple, I wanted to buy a TV. And we just had to postpone that decision. And then after 3 years, we could buy a big home theater system. So what is better? We enjoy watching the movies on our home theater system. Whatever we sacrificed, we got it back in multiple folds. I had never traveled by flight before. After marriage, whenever I've gone home or wherever I've gone, wherever there's a possibility to take a flight, I have never sat in a train. It was because Ankur chose to do this business early in his life. Okay, I'll tell you another example. I'll tell you a difference. A lot of software engineers, they travel to US, and most of the times they're traveling alone. The wives do not go. Even if they go, the husband is in a conference from morning to night. In a week's trip, the only day they can enjoy is half a day. Where when we go for a Amway trip, abroad, international, all-paid trip, we don't do currency conversion. We don't try to save money. We travel first class. We stay in the best hotels in that city. I saw a big contrast because on one international travel from his office, I went with him. I was all by myself for 1 week because Ankur was so busy at work. Only half a day we got time to spend. That was 2 months after marriage. And when we went later in the same year, we went from an Amway trip, we had 7 days of fun-filled time. Okay? I'll tell you another thing. Another thing we have sacrificed is time with parents. Okay? We could not be with them on every Diwali, Holi, or whatever festival they wanted us to be with. to be with them. But today, we took them to an international trip by Amway. We took them to Pattaya, Thailand trip with us. And this time they came, we went to Ooty and had a first-class trip with them. Okay, whatever we've sacrificed, we've got many folds through this business. Okay, I'll tell you another thing. There is no concept of a loan or EMI in our household. 2 years back, before our son was about to be born, just 2 days before his birth, we bought a Chevrolet Optra for 9 lakhs, cash paid, no loans. Okay? Another thing, okay, if both of us were working, when our son was about to be born, Ankur would have to apply for a paternity leave. I would have had to apply for a maternity leave. Both of us were free by the time our son came. So he has not seen mom and dad working. Both of us did not have to ask anybody how much time we can spend with our son. Okay, we absolutely love raising him and we love the time we spend with him. Okay, another reward I want to talk about. We've given so many, parents, I want to talk about this particular thing. My brother had a housewarming ceremony in Bombay and he lives in UK. My sister was doing the function or whatever. For some reason, we were not able to make it. And my sister was very disappointed. That same day, we just decided 2 days we'll go, 40,000 we spent and we just gave them a big surprise. It just makes up for all the times that we've not been able to spend with them when we were aggressively building the business. So all that is possible, only that we have to be patient and we have to postpone a few things for some time. Okay, and the last thing, see, this was all we could do with money. Ankur's younger brother is in the business. He's our fifth leg. Do you think his wife and I will ever have an ego clash? Do you think we'll ever fight or we'll ever have a comparison or a competition? Not possible. She's my downline, we are going diamond. So that kind of a thing does not exist. Do you think his mom is a happy lady? Absolutely. Okay? 2 sons, both in the business, four adults, son and his wife and son and his wife, all in unity, in submission to parents, perfect household. That's what we had dreamed of. And it would not have been possible, for 4 people with 4 big egos to, work in harmony and live in harmony. Okay, so just my message is this: it does not matter which background you come from, where are you starting from. If you just decide to be in submission to the person who's invited you here or who's mentoring you, and just plug in the Brit Worldwide system, all this is possible for you as well. Just make the right choices in your life. Thank you.
Thanks, Taru. See, our goal over here, I hope you understand, our goal over here is not to brag. Our goal over here is to tell you that something better is possible than where you are today. You've heard of this guy, he went to his friend's house and he couldn't talk to his friend because this friend had a dog and this dog was crying at the top of his voice. Ooh, he was crying. After half an hour, this guy got irritated. He said, "Why is your dog crying?" He said, "Oh, you know what? He's sitting on a nail and the nail is hurting him. That's why he's crying." He says, "Why doesn't your dog get up?" He says, "The nail is not hurting bad enough." And for some of you, that is the case. You are cribbing about everything. The rents are high. The flight rates are not coming down. The airport tax has gone up. Everything's becoming expensive. The government is putting more tax. You're worried about everything. You're cribbing about everything. You're crying about everything. Salaries are not going up. Inflation is going up. But you're not willing to do anything for it. My question is, will you make the decision tonight to do something about it? Or will you be like that dog who's crying but not doing anything about it? My point is, make a decision for yourself. Decide. Unless you stand for a decision, nothing is going to change in your life. And that is what is important. You could follow the crowd, you could do what everybody else says, but I don't think there's glory in it. Someday, you will have to stand for your own decision. People will criticize you. People will ridicule you, but it does not matter. Have you heard that? They say, if you do something and nobody criticizes you, that means you're not doing something great. If some people are laughing at you, believe that you're doing something good, something worthwhile. So don't worry about public criticism. Stand for what you believe in. Make a decision yourself instead of trying to do a democratic poll with everybody else around you. And that is the only way you can achieve great things in life. It was great talking to you and we'll come back again. Thank you.
While the techniques and approaches suggested may have worked for others, no one can guarantee that they will work for you. We hope, however, that the ideas presented here will assist you in developing a strong and profitable business. This product has been produced independently of any other corporate entity. Purchase of this product is optional. Purchase of future business tools can be discontinued at any time.